Welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to share you some important concepts about how to clarify our values, because your values are the most important determinants for to set a goal, or they are having just a powerful impact on your future, right? So one of the most important just characteristics of leaders and just most successful people in every area of life is just that they are now who they are, right? Or they know their values, right? What they believe in and what they stand for, right? So most people are just confused about their goal, value, and their ideas, and as a result, they are just going back and forth, and they accomplish just very little, right? Life is lived from the inside out, right? The very core of your personality is your values, right? So your values are what makes you, right? The person you are. Everything you do on the outside is dictated and determined by your values on the outside, whether clear or fuzzy, right? So the greater clarity you have regarding your values on the inside, the more precise and effective you will become, right? In your action and in your outside. So you have to know your just core values. What are your values? Because your values are what makes who you are. So you have to understand deep inside, your inside values, right? There are just around five levels of personality. You can just imagine your personality by thinking of a target with just concentric rings, right? Your personality is just made up of 5 rings, starting from the center with your values and just radiating outward to the next circle, your beliefs, right? So your values just determine your beliefs about yourself and the world around you. So if you have just positive values such as maybe love, compassion, and generosity, you will just believe that people in your world are just deserving of these values, and you will just treat them accordingly, right? So your belief in turn just determines the third ring of your personality, your expectation, right? Your beliefs just determine your expectation, what you are going to expect, right? So if you have just a positive values, you will believe yourself to be a good person, right? If you believe yourself to be a good person, you will expect good things to happen to you, right? If you just expect good things to happen to you, you will be positive, cheerful, and future-oriented or goal-oriented, right? So you will look for the goodness in other people's and situations also, if you are just a good person, if you are just optimistic, right? So the fourth level of personality is just determine your expectations, right? Determined by your expectation. What is your attitude, right? Your attitude. So your attitude will be just an outward manifestation, or it's a reflection of your values, beliefs, and expectations, right? So for example, if your value is that this is a good world to live in, and your belief is that you are going to just be very successful in life, you will expect that everything that happens to you is just helping you in some way, right? As a result, you will have just a positive mental attitude towards other people, and they will just respond positively towards you, right? So you'll be just a more cheerful and optimistic person, right? You will be someone who just other want to work with you and by or from you, or maybe generally they help you to become more successful, right? So this is why just positive mental attitude goes hand in hand with just great success in every walk of life. So the fifth ring or level of your personality is your action, right? Your action, right? Your action on the outside will ultimately be a reflection of your innermost values, beliefs, and expectations on the inside, right? So this is why what you achieve in life and work will be just determined more by what's going on the inside of you than by other factors, right? One proverb says, as within, so without. That means you can tell how people think most of the time by just looking at the conditions of their outer values, right? So a positive, optimistic, goal and future-oriented person on the inside will just enjoy a happy, successful, and prosperous life on the outside, and most of the time, right? So Aristotle once said that the ultimate aim or purpose of human life is to achieve your own happiness, right? You are just very happiest when what you are doing on the inside, on the outside, is congruent with your values on the inside, right? So when you are just living just in a complete alignment with what you consider to be good and right and true, you will be automatically feel happy, positive about yourself and your world, right? So your goals must be just congruent with your values, and your values must be congruent with your goals, right? This is why just clarifying your value is often the starting point to high achievement and peak performance, right? So value clarification requires that you think through what is really important to you in life, right? You don't just organize your entire life around these values. So any attempt to live on the outside in a manner that contradicts or in opposite to the values you hold on the inside will cause you to stress, negativity, unhappiness, pessimism, and ever anger and frustration, right? So your just chief responsibility or highest form of responsibility is to yourself in the creations of a great life is therefore for you to develop absolute clarity, right? Absolute clarity about your values in everything you do, right? You have to know your values in a best way, right? You have to know yourself first. Now what you really want, right? You have to know what really you want, right? Stephen Covey once said, be sure that as you scramble up the ladder of success, it's leaning against the right building, right? Many people just work hard to achieve goals that they think they want, only to find at the end of the day that they get no joy or satisfaction from their accomplishment, right? They ask, is this all there is? This occurs when the outer accomplishment is just not in harmony with the inner values. Don't let this happen to you, right? So Socrates once said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Right? This applies to just your values as much as to any other area of your life, right? Value clarification is something you do on the go-forward basis, right? You continually stop the clock like just a timeout in a football game and just ask, what are my values in this area? You have to reflect, right? Every day you have to reflect, and you have to ask yourself after the day, right? After the day, after you are just doing some action, you have to reflect on that action. What are you are just striving, right? You have to clarify, right? Make it clarify. You have to just reflect on that action, your action, right? And also in the Bible says, for what or has a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? The happiest people in the world today are those who are living in harmony with their innermost convictions and their values, right? So the unhappiest people are those just who are just attempting to live in the conflict with what they truly value and believe, right? And also you have to trust your intuition, right? Trust your intuition, right? Self-trust is just the foundation of greatness. Self-trust comes from just listening to your intuition, to your still small voice, right? Within, right? Men and women begin to become great when they begin to listen to their inner voice and absolutely trust that they are just being guided by higher power each step of the way, right? So you have to hear your intuition, right? Living in alignment with your true values is just a road to self-confidence, self-respect, and personal pride, right? In fact, almost every human problems can be just resolved by returning to your values, right? Whenever you experience stress of any kind, looking into yourself, ask, in what way I'm compromising my innermost value in this situation, right? And also, sometimes you have to watch your behaviors, right? How can you tell what your values really are? The answer is simple. You always demonstrate your true values in your action, right? And especially your action under pressure. Whenever you are just forced to choose between one behavior and another, you will always act consistent with what is most important and valuable to you at that moment, right? So values are, in fact, are just organized in hierarchy, right? They are hierarchy. Values, they have just hierarchy, right? So you have just a series of factors or values, some of them very intense and important, the others are weaker and less important, right? One of the most important exercises you can just engage into determining who you really are and what you really want is to just organize your values by priority, right? You have to prioritize your values. what's most important and what's less important. You have to identify that. What you really striving, you have to know that, right? Once you are just clear about really important of your values, you can then just organize your outer life so that it's in the alignment within you, right? And also you have to examine your past behaviors, right? Examine your past behaviors. That means there are some insightful ways to just help you to determine your true values. First of all, you can just look at your past, how you behaved under pressure in the past, what choice did you make within your time or money when you were just forced to choose. Your answer will give you the indications of your predominant value at the time, right? Tell me what give a person his greatest feeling of importance. I will tell you his entire philosophy of life, right? What makes you feel important? You have to answer this question. What makes you feel important? What raises your self-esteem? What increases your sense of self-respect and personal pride? And what have you accomplished in your past life that has given you the greatest sense of pride and satisfaction? Answers all will give you just the indications of your true values, right? You have to know that. And also determine your heart's desire, right? You have to determine your heart's desire. That means heart's desire. What is your heart's desire? What is it that deep down in your heart more than anything else you would like to be or have or do in life? What do you really want? What do you just want to be famous for? What word would you like people to use to describe you when you are not there, right? What would you just like someone to say about you at your funerals? Or how do you just want your family, friends, children to remember you? How would you like to talk to them about you, right? What kind of just reputation do you have today? What kind of reputation would you like to have sometimes in the future? What would you just have to begin doing today in order to create the kind of reputation that you desire? All these questions are just gives your deep inside, your deep desire of your values, right? So you have to ask this question again and again for yourself, and you have to put answers. Then after you just get your desires, right? Your past is not your future. And also you have to understand that your past is not your future. That means many people had just difficult experiencing growing up, right? When they grow, they are just experiencing a lot of difficult situations, right? They feel just on hard times and became associated with the wrong people, right? They behaved in a way that they were illegal or socially unacceptable. Some were even convicted and sent to prison for their crimes, right? But at a certain point in life, they decided to change, right? They thought seriously about the kind of person that they want to be known as and thought of in the future, right? They decided to change their lives by changing the values that they lived by, right? By making these decisions and sticking to them, they changed their life. And what others have done, you can do as well, right? So remember, it does not just matter where you are coming from. All that really matters is where you are going, right? You have to just remember this. If you just were just already an outstanding person in every respect, how would you behave towards others, right? If you were already an outstanding person in every respect, how do you just behave towards others? What sort of impression would you just leave on others after you just had met them and spoken with them, right? And also you have to imagine you could be just completely excellent person, right? How would you just be different from who you are today? You have to answer this question in order to just examine your future, because you are not just the same as your past, right? You can change everything what happened in the past, right? By just asking this question and by clarifying your deep inside values. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. I'll see you next time.